Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 41 design reveal for the Bead Stash Challenge 2025. I'm so happy you can be joining me today. So I'm Paula Montgomery from Desert Cat Creations. We are the home of the Bead Stash Challenge card sets, and today we are going to make a necklace and use our other cards. I'll go over the cards in a minute. Hopefully some of you got a chance to join me yesterday when I played over on Stars with Kay over at Stars Beads. We did make our prickly pear cactus kit. If you are one of our kit owners and didn't get a chance to watch that, the video is available on our main page for the moment. And then it is on YouTube. I did move it over there. So if you're interested in this project, I am running a sale right now through the end of October. You can get 15% off any of my kits, cards, or beads mixes, okay? So now is the time to get a little ahead on your Christmas shopping, or if you have some kits that you want to do. Don't forget for Thanksgiving, there's still time, because I know we're all thinking about Halloween right now, but you can get your kits too for the turkeys if you want a little decoration for your Thanksgiving table. So we do have our website out there. It's I will show it when we flip it over, because if I show it now, it's going to be backwards. Okay. So if you're using our website, if you just enter coupon code STARS, that's STARS 15, you can get 15% off your order, or you can order directly from me, and I will be giving 15% off through the end of the month. So to order from me, you can just comment on my videos or my posts, and then I will take your order. You can message me directly at Desert Cat Creations. We will work out your order. I will need an email if you're new so that I can send you an invoice. But like I said, if you'd rather, you can order from the website, and I will, and just make sure to enter that coupon code, because I'm not going to enter it for you, okay? So again, let me put that coupon code in real quick. Okay, I just added it as a comment on there, but hey Janelda, thanks for joining me. So anyways, that coupon will run through the 31st of October. So like I said, good opportunity to get a little discount, and that does make it better than my normal bundle discount. So my normal bundle discount is you get $2 off if you buy 2 items, you get $5 off if you buy 3 items. This 15% is a better deal, so take advantage of it while you can. And hopefully you all saw the announcement, or the post yesterday, and I released the 2 new kits, which you can get with the coupon. So we have the pair of saguaros. These are designed to be sun catchers, or or ornaments. We're thinking Christmas now. So you get 2 for $22, which is a bargain, because if you buy our statue, this one is $16. Of course, it's got the giant crystal, okay? And I also released the prickly pear ornament set too. Oh, that's what I found an ornament hanger, and it fell off of this. So These are the prickly pear ornaments. And that set is, sorry, it was $15 for the two. Okay. You need a set of all the new items. So the two kits that I'm just showing now, Janelda, I don't think you got the extra set of beads either. If you want that, let me know. The Violet Dream Crystal Mix, but you can let me know on that. Okay, so like I said, all those things are available directly from me or through the website. And if you use the website, though, don't forget the coupon code. All right. Sorry, I'm having allergies today, so my eyes are running again. But all right, let's go ahead and get started since I got here a little late. Let's flip this over and we'll zoom in here. Whoop. Not that. All right. So this is our website. If you want to order from the website. And like I said, the coupon code is STARS15. I don't know that it cares if you capitalize or not, quite honestly. But if for some reason it doesn't work, use all caps, okay? Yes, please. Okay, Janella. Gotcha. All right. And also, a couple people that asked me about where to find the directions for this. So if you are a member of our Bead Stash Challengers group, which if you aren't, please go ahead and join us. If you go to files, and depending on where you're looking at it, I realize files are sometimes hard to find, but if you look below the, the join, there's things like featured, posts, there's little things you can sort things, but if you scroll over, there's files and albums. So this is in the files. If you can't find it, let me know. And just so you know, I also made these from the same pattern. I just took off the longer fringe, but it's still fringy down here. So that's, just shows you a different color variant. You can switch out the colors however you want. You can take off the fringe if you don't like long earrings. But there's still a little bit of fringe there. So. I guess I didn't give you a good look at that here. Some reason it's at an angle. All right, let's see what we are making today for week 41. So we have to make a necklace. I don't make a ton of necklaces. I have to often remind myself to wear them because I worked in an office that we had to wear an identification badge. So I didn't usually wear necklaces because I always had a necklace around, I always had something around my neck. All right, let me take a quick drink. All right. So we have to, in our necklace today, we have to use some sort of fiber or beading thread in our design. So what I'm planning to use here is I'm shaking it up a little. We'll see. I'm going to use this fiber tassel, but you know what? It's made out of fiber, so that works. And this is really going out on a limb because I'm not a tassel person. so there we go. So, now, you could use beading thread or any sort of things, but and by the way, I do have a bell on my wrist, so if it's bothering you, let me know. I can take it off real quick. But all All right, we have to use a cylinder or multi-strand clasp. So I got two out to show you, and I think I'm doing a mixed metal design today, so I haven't decided which one I'm using, but I have this copper box clasp that has two. It's for a double string, and then I also have a cylinder or clasp in case somebody doesn't know what it is. So these just slide together. You just have to line up there's a slot in there, and you just slide that right in there. Now, if you're gonna buy these, pay a little extra and get the magnetic ones because they hold a lot better. I don't necessarily use these for necklaces, I prefer them for bracelets. And I used to use these a lot for like chainmail. My camera's in a weird place today. Okay. So anyways, like I said, I would buy the magnetic versions. For one, they want to go together and they stay together a little easier. But like I said, I think we're going to use this box clasp, but we'll see how it goes. All right. We have to use lava stone in our design. So I pulled out some of these coated lava. These are in our metal mix, and granted they're not metal, but they look like metal, right? So, and I wanted to give you guys something that was kind of coppery. You know, they may technically call this rose gold because it's a light copper. I think it's sometimes hard to tell the difference between rose gold and copper, but we're going to use those as our lava stone today. And then we have to design something inspired by rodeo. So I've got a couple things here that I'm considering using. I have a horse charm. So we may use that. And then I've also got some wooden cowboy boots. And I think we are going to use those in our necklace today. I'm trying to let the camera catch up because I feel like when I'm too close, it's weird. All right, so that's our rodeo inspiration. We're going to have horses and cowboy boots. So then for the rest of my necklace, I pulled out some of the metal, other things from our metal mix, some of the smaller spacer beads. Like I said, I think we're going to do a or a mixed metal look today. So that's why I went ahead and pulled out some of these brass and silver. And then for some beads, I'm actually using a bead mix from the bargain bead box. This is from last month's box. There's just kind of some nice fall colors, which I thought would go well with the wood. And I was just gonna, so I have some more beads. I was gonna just throw in this gray crystals to go along with this bead mix. So that's what we've got to work with. So let me get my boots out. You know, we here in Arizona like our boots, although it's rarely boot weather unless you're, around horses, because it doesn't stay cold enough to wear your boots very often. So, all right, so I'm gonna pull off a couple of those boots. And let me, all right, let's move the cards out of the way. Those wooden spacers aside, but I was kind of thinking, so these are beads, not charms, but so I've got two options. I can kind of turn them into charms, or I was thinking, you know, they could, you know, go off of this necklace, kind of like that. And let's see. I'm gonna move stuff out of the way. I'm just gonna dump these beads out because we're just going to sort of randomly use them. It's a mix of different sizes and colors, so let's see how that goes. Like I said, I thought I'd mix in a little metal. You know, I probably don't need these extra gray crystals. Oh, and then I thought I'd figure out a way to kind of hang him off the, if I string this, there's no reason that can't be sideways, right? So maybe I'll just connect the horse with a jump ring there. Or probably two jump rings. Okay. So I'm going to do that first. Guess I don't need my cutters. So I'm designing my pendant first. So remember, with jump rings, I like to put my pliers on one side, and the top should be right next to where the opening in the jump ring is. And then I use my pliers on the other side, and I gently open it up. And then we are going to close it up by twisting back the other way. And I sort of gently rock back and forth a little as I bring that together. And then you go and you should be able to feel them rubbing against each other. And then, like I said, I use my nail to see if it's as smooth as possible. Then we're going to do it again, and that's because we need two jump rings here because of the way we're hanging it off of the off of our tassel. So I think my horse is two-sided, so it doesn't really matter which way I hang him. I like him running the one direction, but I guess it doesn't matter. I can flip it around. All right, so this will sort of be our pendant. So we've got our horse. Then maybe I'll put a couple of smaller beads right next to it. All right. Maybe our boots. I was thinking I would what I was thinking is I'll make a 2-strand necklace here, right? Because I've got to use this multi-strand connector. So I think my 1 strand I'm going to have, you know, this will be the lower strand, and then I was thinking a smaller strand that'll just be like small beads that sit above it. So probably I want the lower strand to be, I'm thinking, I don't like my necklaces tight, so let me measure. I just dropped my spool of beading thread. Unfortunately, it didn't all unravel. Okay. All right, let me measure what I just... So, 12... Yeah, so about 20 inches for the bottom strand, and then we can adjust the top strand as we need to, right? So I guess I will string you know what, maybe I am going to, I think in this case I'm going to pre-cut my wire, which I don't normally like to do. I think I'll go ahead and I will just cut 2 feet of wire because, you know, I need plenty. And the reason I want to do that is because I'm going to build from the center out. And we are using Soft Flex in Butterscotch Imperial because it's a fun shade. And I dropped the, yeah, I'll have to find it later. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Try to put that shield back on there so my wire doesn't unravel for me. Okay. All right, so we'll just have to be careful here. You know, when we get to a certain point, we'll we may put a bead stopper on one side just to make sure we don't drop it. All right. So let's put a couple of these beads on and see how it goes. See what it looks like next to our little pendant that we made there, all right? I bought these boots a long time ago and I just figured I'd use them for something. I do own a pair of cowboy boots, but actually I have 2 pairs of cowboy boots. But you know what, I'm not sure. I might have worn them once since I moved here. I had them before I moved here. But I actually need to pull them out. I do wear boots in the wintertime, but All right, let's see what. Hey, how's that look so far? It's kind of fun, huh? Now, you know, I could make this random, but I kind of like to, I don't know, I'm feeling like it should be a little, I guess that's the one that goes with that. A little symmetrical. And then, like I said, I'll, you know, I actually could just leave some of this wire exposed too if I wanted to. Since it's such a fun color. Put at least a couple more. Some interesting shapes in this bead mix. You know, nobody says you have to like go all the way. You can make it quit whenever you want. I think maybe I'll add one more. Now, if you're using the metal bead mix, you'll have a lot more things available to you than I have out here right now. I've just used a lot of mine, so that's why not out there. So, all right, I'm going to put one more bead on each side of these, and then we are going to put some bead stoppers on so I don't, in case I throw this on the floor accidentally. All right, now let's see about our inside. So this one I don't think needs to be symmetric, so I'm not gonna, I may just think I am just going to add beads randomly here, but I'm gonna stick, since this is a second layer, I am not gonna put the biggest beads out of this thing on here, so yeah, I'll move those out of the way, but most everything else can go on there. So, and like I said, I'm not even gonna pay attention. I am just gonna throw beads on here. Hopefully I don't get too many of the same thing next to each other. I don't know how many you normally make, you know, multi-strand necklaces. I don't know, you know, I layer my necklaces, but I don't know that I've necessarily made a multi-strand one. So you're working on your dream. I'm excited to see it. You probably don't have to have a clasps in your sun catcher like mine did, or my dream catcher. Yeah. But my dream catcher will keep away all those bad jewelry dreams. And next week, we get to shuffle the cards, so who knows what we'll be making. It's a whole new ball game. Everything is an option. I feel like I'm not stringing very fast. So, like I said, what I'm envisioning, I guess I could have included, is, you know, this would be just kind of hanging in here. So. You're looking on your screens, okay. Hey, Marianica. We are making a double-stranded necklace today. That can be worn to the rodeo. Alright, does this bead not have a hole in it? Well, that's always fun when you get a bead with no hole. And we are just randomly placing these on here. So I hope everybody's excited about watching the Great Bead Extravaganza this weekend. I'm actually, you know, they normally do the previews, so I know that which ones I want to try to catch live on Friday nights. I'm gonna miss that because actually I'm going to a concert. They have around here, there's a I think it's actually held at a church, but they have these candlelight concerts. So we're going to go to one and just see what it's like. You got your rodeo tickets already, Marianica, or is it too early? I don't even know when the rodeo tickets go on sale. Alright, I am doing these randomly, but I am putting a little bit of these peanut beads together just because it makes it look cooler. So I'm thinking still need to go a couple more inches there. Yeah, I already, yesterday I signed up for my classes that I'm going to take during the Tucson Gem Show. because a lot of instructors come in teach during that time. So I signed up for a couple of metal clay classes. I've been doing that the last couple of years. Just as I enjoy metalsmithing, and the clay stuff is fun. I don't have a kiln, so some of it I can't do on my own, but some of it you can do with a torch. So do like to learn more options about that. So currently I signed up for one that's like making little rings, stackable rings, and then one that's a necklace or a pendant. So, actually, I think that's probably as far as I want to go, because it's the same, covering the same amount. So let's see how this works out. All right, move that out of there. I don't really need my pliers. I do need some crimps. So when you're leaving, you know, some thread showing, I'm going to make this so it's sticking up the same amount. There's two things you could do. One is to put some crimps to hold everything down there, or you can just kind of leave it loose. I'm thinking leaving it loose. Can you guys see that? What do you think? Kind of a fun fallish piece. I think that's fun. All right, so we're going to use our copper box chain here. All right, so I'm going to take one side here. And we're going to put our crimp on. Actually, I didn't really need to open that. I can leave it closed. And so since this is our, you know what, these are going to cross, so I don't know that it matters that, but since I'm going to put this one on the back, I think, and then the other one will be on the inside. And we're just gonna put our crimp through there, leave it so it'll have a little room. And then we're going to use our magic crimper. So as always, you know what, all right. You know, I am going to push this back a little, only because I'm going to be able to cut a longer piece off the other side and possibly reuse it, so for something small. All right, so let's, again, we're putting it in the divot of our magic crimper, and we are squeezing. Ravioli time. Then we turn it 90 degrees and squeeze again. And then we just slowly turn it and squeeze just until we get a nice bead looking crimp. Right? And then I'm going to trim this right next to that crimp, right? And now I'm going to go ahead, I only got 2 crimps out, and we are going to do our inside strand. So let's put that crimp on. So, you know, if you're somebody who hasn't made multi-strand things before, you don't have to have a multi-strand case or a strand clasp most of the time, because you can often just make things join at the single clasp, but so don't worry if you don't have any. Right. Ravioli, 90 degrees, yay. And got a nice smooth looking bead there. And I'm cutting close. All right. So my one side now has, all right, I have these. Really sad when you get it tangled. Just, all right. That's all right. So here's what it looks like up next to my clasp. Now I want to, now we're going to have to, things will get a little more complicated because we have to measure, right? So, oh, I haven't cut that one yet, so we'll just move it out of the way. Not sure why I have that's out here. Let me get some more crimps out here. All right, so let's put that on. All right. And now we're going to come around the other side. Now you could take the side of the crimp off, or I mean the back end of the necklace, which I actually am going to do because I need to measure. All right. So I said I wanted this to be about 20 inches. All right, Janelda, thanks. All right, so I know you can't see me, but I'm measuring. 12 to there. Now, all right, this is not that simple to do. All right, 12. And I want to be about 8, so right here. All right. So I need that right there. And I'm going to my crimp going here. And I'm going to leave about the same amount of space, maybe a little less. And we're going to crimp that there. All right. So ravioli, 90 degrees, and turn. All right. So see, by adjusting that other side, instead of taking the same amount off each side, I have a longer piece here, and I can reuse that, you know, for making things like earrings or a charm or something. All right. So I hadn't cut this other side, so we'll be able to just measure that one by seeing, you know, how far up we want it to be. Okay. I'm having troubles getting myself going right way. So I'm thinking, you know, sticking up about that far is probably right. Maybe a little further. All right, so I need this. I'm going to cut it off, and then we'll adjust it. All right. So don't forget, put your crimp on first. And then we will put it through the end of our clasp and through the crimp. And I am going to that on there so we can look at how it would look. So looks like we need to bring it up some. So I think that works for me. I like that length. All right, so I'm gonna push my crimp back up here to where I want it. And then we'll try to make sure it's not twisted under my crimp. And one final ravioli. And a 90 degrees and turn. All right, we got our nice little bead there. And now we just need to trim this guy. Okay, let's get our tools out of the way. Take a look at how this comes out. So all right. Let me take my current necklace off and we will put this on and show you see what it looks like on. Now, like I said, I don't love the idea of using a multi-strand clasp, but we did. All right, let me flip this guy around. All right, let me move back. So, that's what it looks like on. So we've got our boots, got our double strand, and got a little horsey charm. So, you know, I kind of like that. We are set for the rodeo. What do you guys think? Let me move up closer. I think that's kind of fun. So. Alrighty. Thanks again for joining me, and I will see you all Sunday. I may just like jump on in between. I probably won't do a project since we had an extra project this week with the cactus making with stars beads. And so I will probably just draw my cards real quick, and then we'll be back on schedule for the following Thursday. So have a great weekend. I hope to see you all online at all the various places that we all hang out, and enjoy the Great Bead Extravaganza, and I will see you briefly on Sunday. Bye.